Okay. So on the injury front, Rashard Breeland just had the stomach virus, and so he we sent him home there. And then Dorian has an ankle sprain. He didn't practice today. Everybody else practiced, did a nice job. Look for the challenge of playing the Broncos. Listen, they're getting some guys back, and they're good football players, and that's how this year's working. So they'll be fully loaded when they come in here, and our guys know that, and we've got a good week of practice. So today we started off, had a good day today, and we'll get ready for the challenge of playing the Broncos. So with that, time, George.
Start first with Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Andy, given what happened with the Broncos quarterback situation last week, have you changed any ways you handle your three guys in terms of separating them or distancing them, whatever you want to say in that regard?
Yeah, so we make sure. Yeah, these monitors end up being real important for us. So we make sure that we keep, if they're blinking, we don't want them to blink at all. So, and in that, they've got a good sized room that they can be in where they can have that separation and plus some. So, and then those guys are flawless while wearing their masks. I mean, they keep those things on relentlessly. So that becomes important also.
Oh, so no changes in that regard?
No.
Okay, so if you had a situation like the Broncos did where your quarterback room for one game got wiped out like they did, who would be your guy? Who do you go to in that situation? Who's your emergency guy?
Well, I might be calling you, take charge. We've got guys that we work in as the third quarterback on game day. So I'm not going to put that out there, but we have a couple guys that we work every week.
Go next to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy, I wanted to ask you about your pass rush. It's obviously a big part of how you guys have been. I think you'd agree you didn't get home enough against the Bucs in maybe the last few weeks. What part of that do you see is the competition, the guy across from them? What part is your guys needing to beat their guy? What part is blitz calls, all that?
Yeah, so sometimes that can be determined by, hits on quarterback. I tell you, we were able to keep his feet off balance, and that paid off for us. So it's not always about, the free rush and you get, you hit the quarterback. But if you can make him move and keep him off balance, I mean, that becomes a big thing. And if you can do that with Tom Brady, you're doing pretty good. So because he gets it out relatively quick, as we all know. So anyways, that's I thought we did a pretty good job in that area. And this week, and it's important that we keep building on that. And nobody does it better than Brendan. I mean, he's very good at teaching it, and our guys are responding. So we keep it going.
Go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Coach, understanding that a lot has to do with what the defense is doing. You guys have been playing some pretty good defenses. When it comes to the pass protection, do you anticipate any changes potentially to help protect Pat a little bit more, or do you like what you've seen from your guys recently?
Yeah, well, that was a good defensive front. They got us a couple times. I mean, that happens. We want them to not be hit at all. I'm not sure that's a reality necessarily in this league. You're going to get touched somewhere. So, but we can always do better. Our guys they feel a great responsibility to do that. It's also important that I vary things up a little bit too and give the guys better opportunity to protect. So part of that's my responsibility and part of it's theirs. And that's why we're a team, right? So everybody's got their job to do, and we can all do a little better.
Go next to Sarin Petro. Go ahead, Sarin.
Coach, first of all, the Black Pearl play. What's your feel on when the time is to do that? Like, is it a score? Is it jump on it early? Like, what goes into your mindset on when you're going to unleash that? Then I'll have a follow up, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, we thought we had we thought we had an opportunity. It keeps the guys alive. I think it keeps everybody involved, and so they get into those, and Kelsey's taking a beating over it. Is maneuvering with the football, but that's part of it. We have a wrinkle here or there that we have fun with. So, and hopefully it works. We're trying to score. I mean, that's what we're trying to do, and then I just go off of when I feel that it's right to do, then we'll do it. So.
I mean, everybody has fun. The guys even had fun with it right afterwards when it didn't work. Pat saying it was him saying, throw me the ball, right? That he felt like he maybe got into his head a little bit. Is it kind of like, an ace in the hole to be able to kind of jack the team up and take that emotional level up, in a season?
Well, listen, this is a serious business, so we're grinding away, and there's a lot of hours put in. And so you give the guys a little something. Now you want it to be a good play, and you don't want, it's not we're not making a mockery of the thing. So we're trying to make it where it's it's an opportunity, another opportunity to score a touchdown. And I mean, as you saw, we had people available. It didn't work out. I mean, that 24 did a heck of a job with it too. So got to give him credit. But that's why we do it. I mean, it's a good get everybody involved play.
Like we've got 4 more left. We'll go right down the line, starting with Harold. Go ahead, Harold.
Hey, Andy, first question, and I'll have a follow-up right after. But when it comes to Tyreek Hill, of course, and Inside the NFL had mentioned when he first saw Patrick Mahomes, he was like, whoa, who is this guy? I was just wondering if you heard that comment. Obviously, you thought very highly of Patrick Mahomes, but what did you think about Tyreek Hill, his thoughts on Patrick Mahomes when he first came out?
I think he was having fun with it, So he those two go after each other and have a good time with it. So I think that's really what it was. And I think it was more in jest than anything. You couldn't help but see how talented Pat was when he got here doing all the no looks and all that stuff. So I think that, he was just giving him the business there for a second.
Quick follow-up with the second half against Tampa Bay, obviously a lot slower than what the first quarter was against Tampa. Was there any concern when you looked at the film that you did anything wrong or anything you need to correct coming out of that second half offensively?
Yeah, no, there's some things. Yeah, there's some things that they did. Todd did a nice job with a couple of adjustments, and we've got to do a better job. I got to make sure that I get the guys in the right position to do it with the plays. So I'll take responsibility for that. And, we'll do better. Good stuff that you can learn from it for sure. Yeah.
Go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hello, Andy. I have 2 questions as well. The first one is, I know Rick Burkholder had his situation with COVID. Is he back with the team?
Yes.
Okay. And then secondly, I believe Sunday was the first game where you guys had your full collection of skill position players outside of maybe Byron Pringle since Le'Veon Bell came back. Just with that much talent, what did you see on tape that gives you confidence that this offense can somehow perhaps maybe get better as more guys have more snaps together, the full collection?
Yeah, well, we need to do that. We need to keep getting better. I mean, that's a challenge throughout the season. You don't want lulls in the action, and you want to keep getting better in different areas that you're not as strong in. So that's what we work on, and at the same time try to excel in the areas we are good at. So I mentioned after the game, I thought it was good to get Sammy back in and just get him in the game to play. And he got in the 2 minute, and his numbers went up there a little bit, but it was great to get him back in the swing and working and for the stretch down here. So I thought that was a real positive.
Last 2, we'll go Sam and then Herbie. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Andy.
All right, Sam.
Good news. I've only got one question. Kind of an oddity this afternoon with the Steelers playing an afternoon game. I'm wondering, do you always watch a primetime game because you're able to watch it, or do you pay extra attention because this is 2 AFC teams that you might be able to see in the playoffs?
I don't know how much. I go right from here into a meeting. So I've got these meetings that last into the evening there with coaches and players. So, if I have a chance to look at it, I'll watch it because of that. I think they're 2 good football teams, and I like to just see how they're doing against each other. But I might have to see the replay of it. I'm not sure I'll be able to see too much of it live.
Go last to Herbie Tiopi. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Coach, just want to say I probably have a better arm than Adam Teicher, just in case, you wanted to call someone up. But just point that out. Mitchell Schwartz, I know he's on injured reserve. How is this progress going? And is he a player that you hope to get back before the postseason?
Yeah, we'll just see. I mean, listen, he's a smart kid, and so he's been around a long time, and he knows how he's feeling, and he's a good communicator. So he keeps that open with the trainers and docs. So I think that's the most important thing right now. And then when he's right, then we'll get him back out there. But until then, we don't do. I mean, we do that with every player. We're not going to rush him back if he can't go, and that's why we expect the next guy to step in and play. And Rimmers is doing a nice job for us. He's really stepped up and played well. But that's kind of how we go. But we have a lot of trust in Mitch, and we know he's a tough guy, and he's a good communicator on top of that. So
ready to go.
All right, we'll get started with Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Patrick, in light of the what happened to the Broncos quarterback room last week, can you take us through the protocols you guys have in place to kind of make sure that kind of thing doesn't happen, whether it's virtual meetings, distancing, mask, whatever it might be? And Brad, I'll have a follow-up too. Sorry.
Yeah. I think we do a great job. We're actually in a different room that we've been in years past, a much bigger room. It's kind of where they used to have staff meetings at. And so we're spread out, and there's only a certain number of guys that can be in that room together, that we have the proper amount of distance between each other. And then whenever Coach Reid or Coach Bieniemy comes in there for some of our meetings, we'll send people out and they'll virtually meet with us. And they'll still be a part of the virtual part of the experience, but they won't be where it's too congested in the room. And so even with that, we still wear our mask and do all that different type of stuff. But I mean, it's something you have to stay on top of. Just like not playing a football game, I have Brittany at home who's pregnant and high risk, so I try to stay on top of that as much as possible.
Yeah. All right. And one more thing about your Super Bowl ring. Other than offering it to that guy in the State Farm commercial, do you have you had a chance to show that off at all, or you have any stories about your ring that you can pass along from the first couple months you've had it?
Yeah, I haven't had to show it off much. The only people I've really got to show it to is my family, with my mom and dad, and for them coming up to a couple of the games and everything like that. Obviously, with the COVID pandemic going on, I haven't been able to have a lot of the people up that come every single year, and I haven't been able to show them the ring. But hopefully we can get through this, and after the season I can show all my friends and family.
Let's go next to Herbie Teope. Go ahead, Herbie.
Hey, Patrick, I just want to follow up on the question that Adam asked you, and I'm hoping you can quantify this. You mentioned a certain amount of people are only allowed in there. What is it, less than 10 or less than 5? Or like, what's the number?
We have 5 spots. So there's 4 desks, and there's one desk that's like the main one for like the coach to sit at. So we have like 5 spots, and that works whenever it's just the QBs and Coach Kafka. But obviously when Coach Bieniemy and Coach Reid come in there, we have to send people out.
Let's go next to Matt McMullen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Patrick. So Tyreek just had an incredible month. I mean, he had over 500 yards receiving, 8 touchdowns, 13 touchdowns on the year. So what can you say about Tyreek this year and how he's been getting in the end zone so much?
Yeah, I think it's just the amount of hard work and the amount of practice that he's put in every single year. He gets better and better every single year. He's able to do more and more throughout the offense at different spots, and it's paying off. And I mean, when you put in that work and you put in that dedication, and you know how to really the small things and details of every single thing we do in this offense, when you have that much ability, you're able to go out there and make plays.
Let's go next to Dave Scretta. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, Patrick. Seren earlier asked Andy about the Black Pearl play, and I'm just kind of curious how often you get vetoed. Like, what's your success rate on coming up with plays and Andy actually choosing to put them in the playbook?
I mean, usually if I kind of have an idea, we usually get it in, but there'll be a lot of times where he kind of tweaks it to make it more accustomed to the offense and make it basically work, is the best way to say it. So I'll come up with ideas of plays that I'm trying to do and trying to get guys in these certain situations and certain places and coverages, and then he goes and really details it up and makes it where it'll work within a game.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, Patrick, I have a follow-up similar to that because you had come up with the Ferrari right concept early on in the year. What's your process right? Like, how often is this something that you're doing? Where do you do it? If you can just elaborate on your process of drawing up plays.
Yeah, I think it comes from just that quarterback room in general. We do a great job, and when we're watching film, we try to find different ways we can take advantage of certain things that defenses do. And then we kind of we hone it in and make it to where it's a play that we can get Coach Reid to at least think about. And then once it gets into his room, when you have Bieniemy and Coach Kafka, they really make it and detail it up so that we can explain it to the offense and make plays that go out there and have success.
Looks like we've got 4 left. We'll go right down the line, starting with Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Patrick. I didn't mean for this Black Pearl thing to sort of take this over, but I am wondering, you came up with the initial play. Did you come up with the latest iterations we've seen, or were those things that Andy came up with on his own?
The slot machine one was for sure Coach Reid. I mean, he had it to where I was running out and faking it, and Kelsey was doing a little shovel pass underneath. And then the last one with the Black Pearl, me and Kelsey had already been working on the kind of tossing it around, and then Coach Reid obviously went and detailed it up and made it to where Kelsey had the option to run it in or throw it, and it didn't work, but it was close enough.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
This is not about Black Pearl, Patrick, but you did get Sammy Watkins back. Le'Veon Bell has played his 2 best games in a Chiefs uniform the last 2 weeks. Just when you look at the tape, especially on last week, just what does it mean for you in the offense to have, most of your skill position players with you now, knowing that they're in the offense and you guys maybe get better with everybody around you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, getting those guys back and getting everybody comfortable within the offense, it helps us execute at a higher and higher level. And then having those guys, it takes the pressure off some of the other guys that have been producing so far this year. So that's why you're seeing guys like Kelsey and Tyreek kind of starting to get off more and more later as the season goes on. Is because when you have other playmakers out there, you can't put all those guys on top of those guys. And then when you do, we have guys like Sammy, McCole, D-Rob, Clyde, Le'Veon that can all go out there and make plays as well.
Let's go next to Seren Petro. Go ahead, Seren.
Just a quick one and a follow-up. I will go back to the Black Pearl, right? The trick plays, like, how much does that loosen things up? I mean, I know football's fun and you guys enjoy just playing the game itself, but it is a grind, especially this year in a COVID environment and everything you guys are trying to work your way through. How much does that, maybe lift the team, give a little energy to guys when you have those kind of things? Even just know it, even if you don't get to it that day in the game, just, maybe the week of practice going through and breaking up the monotony and knowing there's some fun stuff in there.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. I mean, I couldn't count how many times there's plays that we've came up with that didn't get ran in the game and never really got ran because we're just trying to create. We're trying to be creative. We're trying to have fun out there, enjoy it day in and day out. And Coach Reid lets us be creative out there by putting in plays like that. And so obviously we try to execute the basics and the base plays as much as possible. And then when we get our opportunity, we try to execute those trick plays so they'll call them more often.
And maybe I misread him, right? He seemed to have kind of like Friday grumpy Andy Reid today, kind of short Andy Reid. So is that, I was asking him kind of a similar thing, and he kind of kept coming back to, well, it's designed to score, right? That's what it is. Is it vital you get that thing in there so grumpy Andy Reid doesn't come out and not call those plays?
Man, yeah. I mean, he's calling those plays. You got to execute them. I mean, he wasn't grumpy when I was with him. I mean, it's Christmas season. That's like his favorite time of the year. So, I mean, y'all might have made him mad. I'll see you in this meeting later.
Let's go last to Steve Walls. Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, Patrick, something off the field, man. Not all professional athletes get the opportunity to have their own signature shoe. Is this something that's been in the works for you? And if you could put your salesman hat on for a second, why should folks go out and pick those up for a holiday gift?
Yeah, it's it's not technically my signature shoe. That's something that I hopefully will be able to work with Adidas and get my own type of shoe and stuff like that. But it is a collaboration that I'm doing with Adidas, and it's kind of my hometown White House Wildcat colors of our own type of Ultra Boost, and I've already gotten a pair, and I mean they're sweet, man. I mean they're comfortable. You can go out there, they look cool, and hopefully this is just a start, and we're able to collab more and more, and then eventually I'll get my own signature shoe, and hopefully that'll be something that'll be pretty sweet that I'll have forever.
Yep.
All right, we will get started, and we will start first with Harold Kuntz. Go ahead, Harold.
Hey, Sammy. Little bit of a off the football related question, but I just spoke with Amadou Dia, who said a lot of good things about you as your friend from Clemson, and Sporting Kansas City has their match. Just wanted to know what your relationship is like with him, how much you guys still talk, and how much you're rooting him on to try to bring another championship to Kansas City.
He actually hit me up like a couple months ago. I think we was in camp, but that was a guy, man, that I grew up with, man. At Clemson, we was both two young stars, and We both help each other out during the time that we were there. But I hope he continued to have success, and he was a good soccer player.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Sammy, just what impressed you most about being back with the offense after spending some time away from the team? And then what did it mean for you to play the role that you played before and to see the success that, maybe someone like, Tyreek Hill had because you were back on the field?
Those guys are rolling. So I'm just trying to catch up to their speed. I go out and I'm like, man, dang, 10, you got DeMarcus Robinson, you got everybody, Kemp, freaking Trav, everybody freaking moving fast. I'm like, man, I got to catch up to that speed. But the offense is going to continue to do what they've been doing without me or with me. I'm just trying to catch up and add my game and my style of play to the game, and and continue to go out there and have fun and play and keep winning games.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go down.
Hey, Sammy, wanted to ask you about Tyreek. Are there specific ways you've seen him improve since you've been here with the Chiefs?
Of course, on the field, he's fantastic. He's amazing. But off the field, I think he has grown as a young man. You see he's with his kids. You see he's doing the little things around the building, which taking care of his body, just being uplifting, being the guy that he always been. And I think that's the most important thing when you got a guy catching 10 touchdowns and 1,000 yards, how he is off the field. And I think he's been amazing this year. And I think that's the blessings that he's getting on the field with, scoring touchdowns and having all the receiving yards.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney. Good, Pete.
Hey, Sammy, welcome back. Probably wouldn't ask you this in a usual year, but we probably won't get to talk to you again for a while. But how are you feeling about the organization in the long term? Do you feel like this could be a fit for you in the future? I know the contract is this year. How have you felt the year has gone, and then again the organization in the long term?
I don't know what's the whole of the future. All I can do is just keep playing my game and having fun and enjoy it. Of course, I love it here. I enjoy it here. Of course, we're 10-1. I love to win. And, if something get written up and it fits me, fits my agent, of course, I would love to be here. But right now, I just want to focus on the season and continue to win and, hopefully bring home a Super Bowl.
Let's go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, Sammy. How much, or I guess at what point in the season do you start looking at the standings, what teams you might need to lose for you guys to gain a spot in the standings? And to that end, how much are you able to pay attention? I know you guys have meetings and stuff, so how much are you able to pay attention to sort of what's going to go on with the Steelers-Ravens game today?
I really don't pay attention to it. I let the coaches take care of who we play and how we play. But I think if we just continue to play how we've been playing, winning our games, controlling what we can control, and whoever we play, they can line up the freaking 85 Bears. And as long as we playing our game and doing our thing, I think we'll be okay.
Got two left. We'll go Matt, Derek, and then Karen. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Sammy, over the last, few years, you've worked in the offseason and tie with Keith Williams up in Nebraska. I'm just curious, what's it like working with Coach Williams, and what have you guys, learned and gotten from him?
We call him Unc, but he's a great guy. I think he knows and played this game at a high level. The way he coached things is totally different from many other coaches. And not only that, but I think he truly cares about us. I haven't answered his text, and he's calling me like, hey, don't make me drive up there. So I think he truly cares about our well-being, and but definitely coaching, man. He's definitely helped not only me, but several guys in this league.
We'll ask to Karen Kornacki. Go ahead, Karen.
Hey, Sammy, I have two questions for you. Good to see you back, by the way. We've missed you.
Yes, ma'am.
We've been talking to Patrick and Kelsey and Andy Reid about this Black Pearl. How much do the rest of the team follow when your teammates are designing plays? And do you get to vote on anything? Have you ever seen anything quite like this before?
I've never seen the type of players that we have, and to have that much, we got one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So I think whatever he says, we're going to kind of follow it. And then, I think it happened, early in the week where he did one thing and it was successful. Then week 2 and week 3 and week 4. So I think he's just been so creative to where it's like, everybody, let's give it a freaking try. And it's been working. And I hope he continues to create whatever he's creating, and let's keep scoring touchdowns.
That's awesome. And then my other question just is, when you're playing a team that has been down, whether it's because of the numbers of COVID tests or whether, things just are injuries, but Denver has not had the season they want. how do you guys face, these guys are like a rival, they're in your division, but they've really struggled this year. So what is the mentality when you're facing a team like the Broncos who've gone through so much?
I think for us to stay level-headed and stay grounded and continue to work how we've been working. We can't look at the situation at the end. Only thing we can do is control our situation, which is we're trying to continue to win games and be that playoff team and be that Super Bowl team we once was last year. So we're not taking any pity on their record. We're going out there to play like we're playing a Super Bowl. And I think if we do that, we'll be fine.
Well, we'll get started first. We'll start with Pete Sweeney. Go ahead, Pete.
Hey, L'Jarius, welcome back. I was curious, as you were trying to recover from your injury, I know that can be tough, especially after the start that you had. How did you remain positive? And just can you bring us through what it was like to finally rehab and get back with the team?
First of all, I started off by praying with God. It was hard with my mental, how I started off, and plus me trying to come back and maintain that same image that I put out, but with God, every day anything is possible. So I kept my faith within God.
Let's go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, L'Jarius, just wanted to ask you whether you feel like you're the same player yet that maybe you were in the first couple of games before the injury. And Brad, I'll have a second question as well.
So you're asking, am I the same person that I was?
Well, it's the same player, yeah. I mean, do you feel like you're playing the same way you did before?
Most definitely. I'm getting better. My mental wise, I'm playing a new position. It's going to expand my mental, make me think a lot. Make me go home and work harder than what I was working. So yeah, most definitely made me a great player than what I was.
All right. Haven't had a chance to talk to you since the game in Vegas a couple weeks ago. Looked like there was something going on the sideline between you and Chris Jones, maybe some other players involved. What happened there?
No, nothing. We just had a little bit of, confirmations with us, but we sat down after the game when we had sat down and talked about what's went on like men supposed to do.
Let's go next to Sam McDowell. Go ahead, Sam.
Hey, L'Jarius, it seems like you've returned to a little bit of a different role than what you had before the injury. Can you kind of talk about the differences in what you're doing now and what you were doing before you got hurt?
I was at corner, I'm out there on the island by myself but nickel is totally different from corner. Like nickel, you got being run fits. It's a lot goes on, which you have to be patient, and I think it's teaching me patience within myself.
Go back to Pete Sweeney. I think you had a follow-up there. Go ahead, Pete.
Yes, sorry. L'Jarius, it seems like you've shown a knack early on here in your NFL career for being able to track and find the ball. What do you credit that to? Why do you think you have such a knack for that?
Oh, man, just a mindset, man. You got to have it in your mind, like, go get it. If you want something, like, you'll go get it. So that's what's in my mindset. If I see ball, get ball. So.
Go next to Nate Taylor. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, L'Jarius, I did want to ask you about playing on the inside, kind of following up on Sam's question. When did the coaching staff sort of prepare you for this role, and what was it like to try to study for it before actually playing an NFL game in a new position?
Well, honestly, I started preparing before they even told me. So I was trying to learn it before they even told me. So I was just preparing myself, but it's totally different from me. It's totally different from sitting at home, trying to read a book instead of actually going out there and doing it, So me, while I was going out there and doing it, that's how I learn faster when I go through the process. So I think as I go through the process, get better day by day, never get comfortable with the spot, you always can learn.
Let's go next to Sarin Petro. Go ahead, Sarin.
Two quick questions, L'Jarius. First of all, along the lines everyone talking about where you're playing and moving around, this is the first time you guys finally were all healthy. It seems like it's almost one right after another. One guy was down. There was always one guy missing. How much time does it take for everyone now to find that new role, right? It's your first chance, really, just the last couple of weeks that you got all the corners out there. How long do you think it's going to take for everyone to kind of settle into what their spot's going to be?
I don't think, I think we're a very adjustable team, whatever they throw us at, I think we can adjust at it and put our head down and go to work at it.
And then what happened with Denver last week, right? All their quarterbacks go down. They still had to play. Rough game for them. You're watching a game today, getting ready to go with Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Does that resonate that, hey, the NFL is going to make you play no matter what? Does that send another message? And
Most definitely. There should be a message for everyone. Like, wherever you at, man, you know, get out there and play football. You've been doing all your life. You know, this is the highest level, you know.
And we'll go last to Darren Smith. Go ahead, Darren.
Anna Jerry, I hope all is well with you. Just curious, you know, obviously you've been a rookie. How you feel you would grade yourself thus far, your learning curve from last year to this year, and then some of the matchups that you've had in the NFL. Talk about that if you would.
Oh, man, you know, it's all about studying. You know, the stage is not too big for me, man. You know, I slow down, slow my thinking down. You know, days what I do before the game. As my first game, what I did was I meditate. You know, that helps me a lot when I meditate because it slows my thinking down. Like if I'm out there and then I'm just mind just blowing, like I'm gonna be like obnoxious or uptight, and I don't want to do that. So meditation it helped me a lot with my game. Actually, I go home and I meditate. It takes a lot off my mind because I do have problems back at home as well, you know. But meditation it helps me out with trying to balance everything. So meditation is a good quality for me.